Have you ever heard of hitchhiking ghosts? Well, if you don't want to, now you have. And with that comes an important warning. Never pick up a hitchhiker in the middle of nowhere, especially if they look like they just escaped from a mental hospital. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, and today we are diving into 10 creepy urban legends that will keep you awake at night. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified every time we upload a new video. And let's get into it. Number 10. The Hookman. Ah, yes. This one is a classic. It has been around since the 70s, and it has been told and retold countless times over the years. But that doesn't mean it's any less creepy. So here goes. While driving home late one night, you see a couple parked in a secluded area. Suddenly, a man wearing a raincoat appears and begins slashing at the car with a hook. The driver floors it and speeds out of there. Now, this story goes by many different names and has many different variations, but all of them end the same way. Eventually, the driver does pick up a hitchhiker, and the person turns out to be the Hookman himself. He's always described as being extremely tall and muscular, and he's always wearing that ominous raincoat, and according to legend, the only way to avoid him is to never pick up a hitchhiker or drive through secluded areas late at night. Pretty hard to do these days. No. 9. Alligators playing poker. Yep, I said alligators playing poker. This one was shared by a Reddit user, and it goes like this. A man was out walking alone down a deserted street when suddenly he heard voices coming from an alley. Thinking nothing of it, he decided to walk down the alley to see where the noise was coming from. What he saw would haunt him for the rest of his life. It was a group of alligators sitting at a table in the middle of the alley, playing poker. But that wasn't even the scariest part. The scariest part was that they were playing with human bones. Now, this isn't the only variation of this legend. There are hundreds of stories like it all across the internet. Most of them involve a group of gators or other swamp creatures playing checkers instead of poker. And in some tellings, the person witnesses the creatures playing, while in others, the person actually joins in on the game and lives to tell the tale. Of course, as with most legends, nobody knows exactly where this one started, or if it's even true. But just in case it is, maybe stay away from alleys after dark. Number 8. Clown Alley. In 1929, a man named William Henry Davis wrote a story about a group of traveling performers who stumbled upon a mysterious circus in the woods. What made this circus different from any other was that all of the clowns looked sinister and demonic. Over the years, this story became known as the Legend of Clown Alley, which claims that there is an alternate dimension full of evil clowns that sometimes opens up portals to our world and brings the clowns through. To say that clowns are creepy is an understatement, but the idea of evil clown doppelgangers existing in another dimension is enough to put anyone on edge. No. 7. Siren Hit. This one comes from a Reddit user named Useless Cardboard. They said, I was driving home alone late at night when all of a sudden 2 girls in their early 20s stuck out their thumbs. I slowed down to see if they wanted me to pick them up. As I got closer, I realized they were both beautiful. I couldn't help but notice that they were both wearing tight jeans and crop tops. The blonde turned her head to look at me and flashed a smile. It was then that I noticed something weird. She had no legs, and before I could react, the other girl in the back seat turned around and smiled. She too had no legs. Now, believe it or not, there are hundreds of similar stories like this one, and they all go back to the early 90s. It seems that these stories of creepy hitchhikers popping up out of nowhere started appearing all over the place, and although nobody knows where they came from, it's probably best to take this one with a grain of salt, or maybe just don't pick up hitchhikers. Number 6. Alfred Packer. On January 11, 1912, a group of 5 men left Colorado to go on a trip to Last Chance Mine in the San Juan National Forest. Their names were George Coons, Joe May, Elam Weaver, Charles Best, and Alfred Packer. But only Best and Packer returned alive, and what they told the authorities was insane. Apparently, the two had set off to find gold, but they had argued and split up along the way. George Coons and Joe May had gone off in one direction and Elam Weaver in the other. Then out of nowhere, a large bear attacked George and Joe and devoured them. Just as Alfred and Charles were getting ready to camp for the night, they heard Elam yell out, "Save me! Save me!" But when they went to investigate, they found Elam's gun lying in the snow. After hearing this, Best and Packer decided to run away. They spent 17 days without food and were eventually found by some woodcutters. They survived on berries and snow, and when they were finally taken in by the authorities, they told their story to everyone who would listen. At first, everyone believed them, but then they realized that the body of a man hadn't been found, but 2 pairs of tracks led away from the scene of the crime, one of which was a bear track. As they followed the tracks, they found the bodies of Weaver, Coons, and May. Packer and Best's story began to fall apart, and once they were taken to court, the judge didn't even hesitate. He sentenced Packer to life in prison for killing his companions, and Best was acquitted because he had defended himself against the bear attack. No. 5. The Vanishing Hitchhiker. Yep, we're back to hitchhikers again. And if this next story doesn't convince you to never pick up a stranger in the middle of the road, I don't know what will. In 1944, a truck driver picked up a hitchhiking soldier. The two talked for a bit, and then the man asked the driver to let him out in the middle of nowhere. Of course, the driver obliged, but he didn't realize until later that the man had disappeared. He searched the whole area, but the man was nowhere to be found. As he continued driving, he began seeing more and more reports of the same thing happening to other drivers. Eventually, the police were brought in, and they discovered that the road where the disappearances were happening was said to be haunted. To this day, people still report strange occurrences on that road, and there are even videos online showing cars driving through the area at night and finding hitchhiking ghosts. No. 4. Bloody Mary. This one might sound familiar because Bloody Mary has become a household name. In urban legends, people have been telling stories of Bloody Mary since the 1970s, and she's been portrayed in TV shows, movies, and even video games. But what makes this legend so creepy is that there are stories of Bloody Mary haunting people to this day. According to legend, Bloody Mary is the ghost of a young woman who was murdered on Halloween night. Every Halloween, her spirit comes back to Earth to seek revenge on whoever killed her. And if you summon her name 3 times in a bathroom, she will come out of the shower covered in blood and kill you. No. 3. Wendigo. According to Native American folklore, the Wendigo is a creature that preys on human flesh and haunts people when winter comes around. Some tribes believed the Wendigo was a demon that possessed people and forced them to eat human flesh, while other tribes saw it as a spirit that lived inside a human body and turned them into cannibalistic monsters. Either way, the Wendigo's origin story is unknown, but its legacy lives on in modern horror. Stephen King used the legend of the Wendigo in his novel Pet Sematary, and the legend itself has inspired countless campfire stories that are guaranteed to scare anyone who hears them. No. 2. Bridge to Nowhere. Reddit user Feral Cat shared this one with the world, saying, "I was out riding my motorcycle on twisty mountain roads. When I came across a closed road sign indicating the bridge ahead was out, I figured I'd ride up to the bridge to see how far the road had been washed out. Sure enough, the bridge was completely destroyed, but there was a small opening where you could peek through the railing. When I looked through, I saw the ground on the other side of the bridge was about 10 feet below the opening. I thought, Well, that's interesting. And I was about to ride away when I noticed something hanging beneath the bridge. It was a pair of feet connected to a pair of jeans, dangling from the bridge supports. I stopped dead in my tracks and backed away slowly. Then I turned around and ran the hell away. And finally, number 1, Highway 13. This one has got to be the scariest highway in the world. That is, if the stories are true. For starters, the highway is called Highway 13, and we all know what happened on Friday the 13th. Not only that, but the highway is cursed with bad luck. Cars seem to break down on it all the time. Accidents happen constantly, and if that weren't bad enough, the trees lining the road seem to form faces that stare directly at oncoming traffic. But perhaps the worst part of all is the bikers. Many people have reported groups of bikers blocking the road, and when drivers stop, the bikers surround their cars and cause all sorts of trouble. There are even rumors that these bikers are satanic, and they sacrifice people on the side of the road. But hey, who cares about all that? Because on this highway, it's also illegal to honk your horn, and if you get caught doing it, you'll pay a hefty fine. This highway is isolated, surrounded by old cemeteries and dense forests, and when you add all of these things together, you get one terrifying highway. Thank you guys for watching. Which of these legends scared you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more scary videos just like this one. See you next time.